Hey everybody, this is Brandon Ford and welcome to the Blind Rage Podcast. Chucky Mania continues with Child's Play 3, and of course, I wouldn't do a Chucky movie without my good buddy James Garibay. Say hi, James.
What up? I'm back and we're here to talk about more Chucky, as you have mentioned. It's good to be back.
You were bursting at the seams.
Well, I kind of have to. You know, Chucky is my main man.
But this isn't one of your favorites.
It is not, but you know what? It's still Chucky, and whenever Chucky's involved, I'm down.
Did I say which one we're doing? Did I say that?
I believe you did. Child's Play 3.
Okay. Sometimes I forget if I say the name of the movie or not. But yes, we are doing Child's Play 3 from 1991, and I double-checked Wikipedia because I remember I was telling you during one of the Child's Play commentaries that this one came out less than a year after part 2, and that was correct. It came out 9 months after.
That just seems too fast.
Well, according to Wikipedia, Universal or whomever wanted Don Mancini to get to work on a script for part 3 before the second one was even released in theaters. So this was kind of a rush job. And it also said that he wanted to do the multiple Chuckies for this one, but they didn't have the budget for it.
Right.
And
like it had just gotten off the ground with the second one.
The second one, yeah. I should have looked up the box office for that one, but I wasn't planning on talking about it, so I did not. So before we get into the movie, you had watched something tonight. What did you watch?
We watched The Towering Inferno from 1974.
Oh.
It's not a horror movie.
I'm familiar.
Yeah. It was
Karen Black,
good.
Right?
No.
No?
Faye Dunaway.
Faye Dunaway.
Paul Newman, Jennifer Jones. Yeah. Kind of a good cast from way back then. And I didn't realize that the movie Skyscraper was a remake of this movie. So...
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, and I saw Skyscraper and I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed this one just as much. So, and I'm always a fan of like some old school 1970s movies like this.
When did Skyscraper come out?
Just a couple years ago. I think 2018, 19.
And who was in that?
The Rock.
I thought, yes, that's what I thought.
It is an action flick, but it's Neve Campbell was also in it, and that was kind of like the bigger selling point for me because I love Neve Campbell, and it was really good to see her back on the big screen again. Sorry if that whimpering is my puppy snoring. So they like to join in on this too.
Yeah, I think the biggest movie that she was in before that was Scream 4.
Yeah.
And the biggest movie that she was in before Scream 4 was probably Scream 3.
Well, she was also making Drowning Mona at the time, too, so that's why...
Oh, that was awful.
I can't remember if I saw it or not. If I did, I probably somewhat enjoyed it.
Awful.
But she was also in House of Cards for a few seasons, which is another show I haven't watched.
Well, you don't want to do that now with Kevin Spacey.
I know, and what sucks is that I always really enjoyed Kevin Spacey as an actor. But, it is what it is.
Yes, let's not go there.
Yeah, let's have fun tonight.
Let's keep it light
with this terrible movie. But shout out to Neve Campbell because she's awesome.
I wouldn't say this is... I like this better than Siege.
I don't know.
I don't really think Seed has any. Well,
I mean, Seed is bad, and we'll get into that when we watch it.
yeah,
But,
let's not.
you know,
Mm.
I don't. Anytime I watch this one, I just always have to just fast forward through it just to like get to the kills. Anyway, we'll get into it when we start.
Mm-hmm. Well, I watched a few movies recently. I watched the Sex OClock news the other day. That was some random movie that I found on YouTube. I discovered a channel via a podcast called Blockbuster Video. And
Blockbuster, I like
Blockbuster. And they have all some obscure, some not so obscure, but they're all VHS rips. There's a lot of sex comedies, 80s sex comedies like Hollywood Hot Tubs and Spring Fever, stuff like that. But I found this one and I'd never heard of it before. It's from 1985 and it's very much like a really long Saturday Night Live sketch. There's not really a cohesive story. It's basically a parody of a news program with a bunch of sketches and fake commercials thrown in. And it was only an hour and 15 minutes.
Huh.
It wasn't great. There were some moments that were funny that I did chuckle at. There were some off-color jokes, some stuff that would not fly today, some very non-PC stuff.
Right.
But yeah, there was some one would say anti-gay, anti-trans. There was even some racially insensitive language used.
Well,
yeah.
when did this movie come out?
85. I just remember there was a line. There was like an ad that I quoted because there was a part of it that I thought was funny. It was a fake commercial, a hotline for people whose grandmothers turned up missing, and there's a chance that they might have gone into prostitution. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, they said like grandmothers were disappearing from nursing homes and ending up turning tricks on the street, and they were giving
Oh my God.
They were giving an example of a woman who I believe the line was she went from the nursing home to the street to find a black Negro pimp, which
God.
I thought was in poor taste.
Just a smidge.
A little bit, yeah.
Even for the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there was a surgical procedure where a guy was trying to get the trigger part of his brain that supposedly made him gay, and they were like, this is the part of the brain that causes the limp wrist. So some of it was cringy. I can kind of see why it doesn't have a DVD or a Blu-ray release that I know of. I did laugh a couple of times because of how stupid it was, but for the most part, it wasn't good.
Right.
Even without the non-PC stuff, it just was kind of It was very juvenile, the humor.
Ha. Well, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But, you know. So obviously something that you want to set your eyeballs on?
No. I also watched the Mortuary Collection, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And that has been getting a lot of really, really good reviews, and I can see why. It was very good. It's an anthology horror film, and it kind of is reminiscent of Tales from the Hood.
Really?
Only it's not really an urban anthology, but it does takes place in a mortuary, and the mortician telling the stories is played by Clancy Brown, who's been in
Really?
like everything.
Yeah, I love Clancy Brown. He's awesome.
Yeah. He was full circle in the episode of Tales from the Crypt that I did a commentary for that was co-written by none other than Don Mancini.
Nice.
But yeah, that was really, really good. I liked it a lot, even though I had to go by ear because I didn't have an audio described version, but I was also able to follow along what was happening by the plot summary on Wikipedia. And plus I listened to a podcast that pretty much went through the stories beat for beat. But yeah, it was really good.
That's cool.
It was really good. Clancy Brown is the only recognizable name, I think. It was a low budget endeavor. And what I liked about it was each story took place in different decades.
Nice.
Because it's set in 1983. And the first one is ambiguous, or no, maybe the first one is the 50s. Then we get to the 60s and the 70s, and then the 80s. Obviously, the first one is really, really short. But the one through line in it is there's one actor who plays a doctor, and he shows up in all of the segments.
Oh, that's cool. To kind of like give the stories a little continuity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like that. So that was good.
What's it called? The
Mortuary Collection?
Mortuary Collection.
I believe it's on Shudder. If you have that.
Activate my Shudder.
And
it's fairly recent. That's
cool. Yeah. It's pretty new. I am very trepidatious when it comes to, or not trepidatious, that's too strong a word. I'm a little reluctant when it comes to anthologies because,
right.
There's always that clunker in there, and you have to get introduced to new characters, and it's like you're starting a new movie like 4 times.
Right.
And it can be a little tedious, but especially if you don't like one of the stories and one of the stories goes, and that one is always the one that goes longer. But these were all good. I liked all of them.
Oh,
so
high praise.
Yeah, I recommend it, but I think that everybody in the horror realm has seen it because it's been getting a lot of really good reviews on various podcasts. So there's that. And another movie that has been getting a lot of attention on podcasts that I saw and I was kind of on was Psycho Gorman. And I saw the trailer and I thought, oh, this looks like a really fun, dark comedy. And while there was some comedic elements, they were few and far between. And I don't know if you know what it's about, but it's about these kids.
I'm looking it up right now, actually. Unearthing a gem, controls evil monster, looking to destroy the universe.
Yes.
Kind of sounds like a knockoff of Wishmaster.
It kind of gave me Wishmaster. I couldn't see him, but the monster did remind me of the Wishmaster, the way he talked.
Oh yeah.
And the when they were talking about the gem, all I kept thinking of was Pinhead's box. But
yeah, from looks, I'm gonna tell you, it kind of looks like the a cross between the Creeper.
That's what I was gonna say too.
And
That's what I was going
creature
to say.
from the Black Lagoon.
That's what I was going to say. He kind of reminded me. I kind of was getting Wishmaster / Creeper vibes from him, but
Nice.
there were. He's a bit sassy, which I liked. And there was one thing throughout the movie that I thought was funny, where he couldn't remember the brother's name. And he was calling everybody by name at one point, and then he pauses and he goes, "And you, boy." And there's one part that I thought was really funny that's in the trailer, and it kind of sold me on it. Right before the kids leave, the girl who resurrects him says, it was nice meeting you, and he says it would be nicer if you were dead. So yeah, he was kind of sassy, but I thought what kind of hindered the movie was there was way too much backstory about where he came from and what his purpose was and what his people were, and I just wanted him to wreak havoc with the kids, especially since they had control over everything that he did. So I wanted them to like get vengeance on people they didn't like, and there really wasn't much of that at all.
Well, it's not very often they get so much backstory with the villain.
Yeah, but this was too much.
Yeah, fair enough. I haven't seen it, so I'll have to check it out. But I mean, just from the image alone, it looks pretty fun.
It wasn't completely a waste of time, but I can't see myself watching it again anytime soon.
Well, it is only an hour and a half, so not too bad.
Yeah. And the kids were good. The kids were funny. And that's difficult to find decent child actors.
Right.
But I did like the kids. And yeah, that one is on Shudder. I believe it had some film festival screenings, and then Shudder gave it its VOD premiere.
Cool.
So, yeah, if you guys want to check that one out, it's on Shudder right now. It just premiered, I think, last month.
Nice.
So, before we get into the movie, I have to do my usual plugs. I would like to encourage all the listeners to check out my books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle editions. I have a brand new title called He Wore a Leather Jacket that is more of a psychological thriller as opposed to straightforward horror, which I tend to write. But that one is in paperback and Kindle right now. Hopefully I will have an audiobook version by the end of the year. Also have the new audiobook edition of The Mystery of Kelly Christopher and Progressive Entrapment. So yeah, you could also check my books out on audible.com as well as the Audible app. You can follow me on Twitter. I don't usually say Twitter first because I don't use Twitter that much, but I'm on Twitter at Brandon Ford. If you don't already, please follow me on Instagram at writer Brandon Ford. I'm also on Letterboxd at Brandon Ford. And
right here, folks.
So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, critiques, suggestions, recommendations, please feel free to email me directly at blindragepod81@gmail.com. And please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. So, and I don't even ask for any money. That's one thing that irks me about fucking podcasts is people are always asking for money and selling merch. And I don't do any of that. I would like you to buy my books, though. So
yeah, that's all you ask. Just buy the books.
Buy the, we need, see, that's why so many other countries are smarter than Americans, because Americans don't read as much as they should. And my books are brain food. Let me tell you what. So, James, do you have anything you want to plug?
Adopt all those animals. Adopt the ones from the shelters. Rescue one if you see one on the side of the road. Do what you can, because there's a lot of crappy people out there that treat their animals like shit.
I agree.
That's all I got.
I agree. If you're in the New York area, I would suggest checking out the Instagram of Howard Stern's wife, Beth Stern. She does a lot of kitten rescues.
Oh.
And so they have a lot. I don't know who listens to Howard, who listens to the podcast, but if you listen to Howard, he's always talking about how they adopted this kitten or this cat that was donated to them by someone who couldn't have an animal anymore, and they take good care of them, and they post pictures for people who are in the New York area who would like to adopt them. And Howard will give you a lot of a pretty big and a pretty decent starter kit with litter and litter box and toys and food, and I think they even have all the animals, get them their shots. I was going to say have all the animals shot, which is not, no.
Yes, poor choice of words.
Yes. So they do everything in their power to make it as easy as possible to get these animals good homes. So
that's really cool.
It is. I think it's very admirable, and Beth Stern is on Rachel Ray a lot talking about her cause. So I think it's really cool.
Aww.
And I don't really usually plug people who don't need plugs. Like, I don't really think Howard Stern needs my endorsement, but it's part and parcel with what you were discussing.
For what they're doing.
Yeah,
for what they're doing, for their causes anyway.
For their causes, sure.
Yeah.
And there's so many animals out there who need good homes. So anybody who goes to a breeder needs to get slapped in the face.
Oh, I agree.
Did you ever watch that show on Netflix with Christina Applegate, Dead to Me?
I got through like half of the first season, and I liked what I saw. I thought it was like kind of different, and I love those two actors. But I haven't finished it. I just kind of fell out of it.
I believe it's in the second season. I think it's been a while, because fucking the new seasons are once a year, and by the time the next season comes around, you forgot the whole.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think it was last season, which was last summer. There was a scene I thought was really funny where I think she was at a church because her son was in the choir. I might totally be getting this wrong, but she had a friend who, I think he was a token gay character, and
nice.
He was sitting in the pew with her and talking about a new dog that he'd gotten, and it was a purebred something or other, and she just turned to him and went, "You went to a fucking breeder?" in the church. Yeah, it was pretty good. I liked it.
Was it during a sermon?
No, it was while the kids were singing.
Oh. Oh, right, because you said he was in the choir.
Yeah. I think it might have been a practice, but still it was inappropriate, but also very funny.
Right? But yeah, a breeder? Come on. No. Never do that.
No, don't do that. Okay. So I think we should light this candle, James.
Yes, I agree. Let's get to the murder and mayhem
people. Of people. And killer dolls. All right. So, if you want to watch along, I'm watching the Blu-ray edition. James is watching on Netflix. Netflix has parts 2 through Cult.
Through Seed, I believe.
Seed? They don't have
Cult.
No.
I don't know. I could be wrong.
I think you might be right. Well, anyway, we're watching 3, and 3 is on Netflix if you want to watch along, at least at the time of this recording. So we're going to begin with the 3 count as per usual. So are you ready, James?
Let's do it.
All right. We're going to start in 3, 2, 1, play. And we have the Universal logo. I have an quasi-interesting story about how I first saw this. I spoke a lot. Let me talk about this first. I think this is really dumb. This opening sequence because the blood drips into the vat of the fucking plastic that brought him back.
I know, like I love the opening sequence. I will say that much.
The opening titles are really cool.
It's just so creepy. Yeah, the wax coming in the face. And
that's really cool. Yeah. But this, with the thing being dragged across and the blood dripping, I just think is cornball.
I know, like it's all dusty and covered in cobwebs and just, I mean, the opening sequence is pretty awesome. I will give it that much.
The titles.
The opening and the titles, yes, just everything about the opening is awesome. Just
okay, but you just totally went the complete opposite route because I was talking about how stupid it was. Well, just the resurrection.
Sometimes.
Just the resurrection. I don't like the way they brought him back.
Yeah, it could have been a little more, I don't know, creative. Because, I mean, but I still enjoyed the way that they went about it, you know? And just how they set everything up, like how to show how much time has passed since then, you know, and how they're trying to recuperate, and Andy Barclay's a thing of the past, etc., etc.
Yeah. Speaking of which, this is supposed to be 8 years after part 2, and Bride is supposed to be 1 month after this one. Did you know that?
What? Seriously? No.
Yeah, that's what it says on Wikipedia.
Oh, Wikipedia, what do they know?
I don't know, but I don't remember them ever saying that in the movie. But
I don't really. I mean, I always pictured it as, you know, I don't know, at least a solid 10 years.
Yeah. Well, let's not talk about that now.
Yeah,
but yeah,
we'll get there.
I like the way these opening titles are done. I think this is really cool. But I just don't like the way he's resurrected. But anyway,
with his fingers twitching.
Yeah. And
it's
kind of like from what I remember, it's like a reverse melt.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did.
Yeah,
but
so
it's cool because like the blood is like forming all of the veins inside of his body in a sense. And,
yeah.
So when did you first see this movie?
Well, I'm trying to tell you.
Oh well.
Jesus Christ.
An asshole.
When I have brought up the mom and pop video store that I frequented many times, and around 89, 90-ish, the owner started illegally renting screeners. And And I remember the first one that I rented was Look Who's Talking To. And this was before the official video release. And then it got to a point later where they just had all the boxes out on the counter. They didn't give a fuck anymore. But yeah, they used to, and they were dupes of screeners. So they were just like regular, JVC fucking blank tapes.
Huh.
Yeah. And they would charge you $3 too. But I did see this on a screener that was illegally rented to me. And throughout the entire movie, it had, I think, property of Universal at the bottom. The whole movie.
So they were illegally obtained and copied?
No, they weren't. They would get, sent by the studios.
Uh-huh.
But they would illegally copy them and rent them out to people.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah. I think that they were trying to do what they needed to do to stay afloat because this was around the time of the Blockbuster boom.
Right. Like all the mom and pop shops were kind of going out of business.
They were hanging by a thread. This one managed to hang in there until I believe 2005, which is pretty good for an independent.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much. Well, no, like when Hollywood Video and Blockbuster, they went out closer to like 2010, if I'm not mistaken. So that's not too bad.
Well, no, but I don't remember what Blockbuster did, but Hollywood Video was really trying to stay afloat by having the what did they do? They were like doing, they were giving away free rentals. It was like a buy one get one.
Yeah.
And they had like kind of a Netflix type deal where you could just go and rent as many as you wanted if you paid a monthly fee.
Oh wow.
I think that's right. Blockbuster started to do the online thing. They had their own Netflix where they had DVDs through the mail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember when I first moved to Austin, I got a Blockbuster membership, and that was like 2008. And within the couple of years, that's when like all of that really started to go under because streaming everything was becoming really big.
So when did you first see this?
I remember being like, God, like it was probably around the time I saw this. Well, I saw the first one when I was 6, as I mentioned, but I remember because we had cable, I would see the trailer on the the guide channel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be like, hey, like, oh. And so like it kind of caught my eye that, Chucky was around even though I had just seen the first one. And so I think I saw this one maybe when I was like about a year or two later, maybe. Because it was just coming out, and I don't think we had rented it yet. I don't think it was on video yet. So yeah, it was probably around like 7 or 8 after I'd seen the second and third one, or second one. This is the third one. Come on, James. But yeah, even then I was just like, okay, this is fun and silly. Like I don't like it as much as the first two. Probably because, like the actual Andy Barclay wasn't in it, and yeah, it wasn't as scary to me as the first two were.
Well, this whole sequence is it really drags.
Yeah.
And, you know, get him with his little putter, and then Chucky starts messing with him with the toys, and
Yeah.
but
I mean,
it
there's a
takes
little bit of
forever.
yeah. And it would be kind of creepy if all this stuff was happening. Like you're alone, big apartment, toys are just going willy nilly. But it's just, it doesn't hold that same resonance as when, Maggie's going through the apartment and freaking herself out because of everything that's happening. And yeah, it's just not as creepy.
No. And plus, you always feel a little more empathy for a woman in peril than you do this fucking geezer.
Yeah, and he's like a CEO, so like he doesn't really give a shit about
He's not
anybody.
likable. No. Mm-mm.
No, and he was at the factory in the second one,
Yeah.
and the dude got electrocuted and thrown out the window, and he's just all, whatever.
Well, his last line in the second one was when the assistant said, what do I do with the doll? And he says, stick it up your ass.
Yeah, right? Like, okay, so alrighty, we don't like you.
No.
We're glad you die.
We don't care. So, what do you think of I've never quite certain how you say his name. Justin Whalen?
Whalen, yes.
It's Whalen?
Whalen. At least that's how I've always said it all these years, so. But I don't think he's a very good actor.
No, I don't either.
He was in this and Dungeons and Dragons, and that's all I've seen him in.
Serial Mom.
Oh yeah, I always forget about that one. See, because he's a side character.
Yeah, Scotty, he played. But yeah, and I don't think he's really doing much anymore. I think the last thing he was in '09.
Right.
No, I don't think he's a particularly good actor either. I could see some similarities, though, to him and Alex Vincent. They do kind of look alike.
Yeah, I mean, as far as looks go, you're right. There is a similarity, but you just don't really get. I don't know. I don't think you care about him as a teenager as you did when he was a kid. Like if he's going to be a teenager, have him be a little more angry or a little more traumatized, because he doesn't play the trauma very well.
No, that's true.
Like you're going through all this stuff before you even hit your double digits. Like you're going to be a little fucked in the head.
Yeah.
I mean, I get the fact that, he's got to step up and protect this other little kid like Kyle did for him.
Sure.
But you don't really care, which is, which sucks to say. But...
Yeah. There's a lot of unlikable characters in this movie. Don't fuck with the Chuck. That was the famous line in this movie. I remember when I was in school, a lot of kids thought they were badass. I wouldn't say that.
My brother had he had a couple of songs recorded from the soundtrack, and there was a rock song that put "Don't fuck with the Chuck" in one of the lyrics.
I didn't even.
It wasn't an actual lyric. It was actually what's it called? A voice insert of that line.
Yeah, a clip from the movie.
There you go.
This is going on way too fucking long.
I know. And really, you're gonna let yourself get taken out with a yo-yo string? Those things are not that thick.
Another thing that I remember about the release of this movie, this is probably not a very interesting story, but it's Child's Play 3 related. I had a friend, I don't want to say her name, but we knew each other from elementary school.
Nice.
And she was given a mini poster. It was 11 by 17 with the traditional Child's Play 3 artwork with the the blood coming out of his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And it was given to her by someone, and she said, because she knew that I liked these movies, she's like, I'm gonna give it to you because I don't like this thing. I don't like it because his eyes were red. She's like, I feel like he's looking at me. And so, sidebar, her mother had a brother who was always there for some reason. He was always hanging. He didn't live there, but he was always hanging out on the couch and watching TV. And I don't think he had a job. And he was really obnoxious and did not like kids, and was not shy about voicing that he didn't want you there, even though it wasn't his house.
Oh my god, what an ass.
Yeah, he was a total ass. So I went over there to get the poster, and I had it rolled up, and we were coming down the stairs, and we were about to go out the door, and he was on the couch, and he saw me holding the poster. Oh no, you're not giving away that poster. Completely flipped the fuck out. And I had to give it back to her because he completely threw a hissy fit. I don't know if he gave it to her. I don't remember. But I just remember that he found it very objectionable that she was giving me this poster and did not want me to have it.
What business was it of his?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. But like I said, he was an ass.
Yeah. That sucks.
Yeah. And I remember being really, really disappointed.
Aw.
Like, I wanted to cry. I was really upset.
Well, it is a pretty cool image, I will say that much.
I also had the novelization of this.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I had
This barber's just weird.
I know.
You had what?
I had the comic book novelization too.
Oh, fun.
And I remember on the cover of one of them, there is like two sergeants or whatever the fuck they are, like standing on either side. You just see them from like the waist down, their pants. And Chucky is in the center, and he is in uniform, and he's giving them the salute.
Huh. I don't know what to say about that.
Well, it was supposed to be funny, so.
I know.
But they were, I think, I talked about them before. I think it was in Innovative or Innovation. There was the name of the comic books, and they did all these comic book retellings of famous horror movies of the time.
Right.
And they were usually done in 3 issues. I don't remember what was on the cover of the other 2, but I do remember on the back of either the comic novelization of part 2 or the general Child's Play series that they put out, there was a full ad for Child's Play 3.
Oh, that's cool.
It took up the whole page. And I remember the Chucky goes ballistic line, and I didn't know what the hell that meant.
Well, they had to get the marketing out somehow. Oh, Lord. See, the close-up of his eyes is alright. But his overall performance just is not good.
No.
Sorry, Don Mancini.
Well, Don Mancini didn't want him.
Yeah.
He wanted Jonathan Brandis.
Oh, yeah. But the higher-ups...
I think Jonathan Brandis was committed to something already. And, but yeah, Don Mancini was not happy with the casting of this movie.
Well, you can understand why.
And then we have cute little Tyler, who ends up being a menace to society.
Yeah.
I was looking up more information about that case that I was telling you about. And, well, I found articles about the main arrest, which was in February of 2018. I said it was a assault and battery. I assumed it was a girlfriend, but it wasn't. It was his mother.
That's terrible.
He knocked her down and stole her car. And was arrested for that. And there were 6 charges, apparently. I don't know what they all were. But suppose I don't know what the turnout of the case was, because like the article was from when it first happened. So if he was charged, he was facing 3.5 years. I don't know. But before that, there was an article that was printed in 2014. This was also on TMZ, and there were quotes from his ex-girlfriend, who said he was, I believe, verbally and physically abusive. And
oh my goodness.
She told a story about how they were at a party and he got pretty drunk and tried to pick fights with everybody there. And when he was unsuccessful, he just started peeing on people.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That sucks.
One would never. Sweet little Tyler. I mean, and I thought he did a really good job in this movie. I felt more empathy for him than I did for Andy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, his performance was pretty solid.
I think so.
And it sucks to hear that he, pulled all this crap.
Yeah.
I mean, this was his one movie.
Yeah.
He didn't did anything else.
No, he had like a couple of walk-on roles on Saved by the Bell. Mm-hmm. And several years after that, he had I guess a background role in the Damon Wayans show My Wife and Kids. And then
I remember that show.
A couple years after that, he had a background role in I don't know, some movie that came out in 2001. But that was the last thing that he did.
Right. So but I mean, he was never prominently in the spotlight.
Nope. Mm-mm.
25 what?
Oh well, I mean, child actors.
Yeah, well, Hollywood will chew you up and spit you out.
Oh shit. And I don't know. I mean, maybe his mom was a stage mother, and I don't know. I'm not trying to justify his actions or his behavior, but Hollywood is cruel for children. All right, we're introduced to De Silva. She's awesome. She's fun in the movie.
Yeah, Perry Reeves. I've never seen her in anything else.
I don't think I have either. I don't know. She's so. I always enjoyed her. Her stuff with Shelton. I said you asshole. That part was
Yeah, she wasn't afraid of anybody, and
no.
you kind of have to take immediate adoration for someone like that,
Yeah,
because
seriously.
she's like the kind of person that you wish you could be, someone who's not afraid
Indeed.
of anything. And when you
Yeah.
have that kind of attitude coming from a female character, that's even more empowering.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you don't really see those kinds of roles that much in horror films.
Well, at least not without being, told. It's like, yeah, this is why I'm doing this. Like, no, getting all political with it.
Yeah. This was another one, another French dub that I studied.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I I'm almost positive that in the French dub, there's a scene when they're all running in the rain, right? And it's a left, 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 right, left.
Yes.
I believe in French, it was the opposite. It was right, 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 left, right.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder why that is.
I think it was because it sounded better rhythmically. And
Okay.
I don't know. I don't.
Like for the French language.
For the French language. I can't remember what. I think I'm probably totally fucking wrong here because I'm rusty with my French, but I believe right is droite and left is gauche.
I'm new and improved.
Droite and gauche.
I think so.
All right, kid.
I need to brush
Droite,
up on my fucking.
droite, gauche with droite.
Andy?
Well, I mean, I'm sure it sounds better if you say it faster.
Mhm.
And correctly, I do not speak French. So I probably just butchered all that.
Sorry.
He's so sweet here.
He's more than that.
I know.
He's my new lease on life.
And it also what also makes you empathize with him is because he's like the youngest kid in the whole school
Yeah.
and he has no friends. And he finds
Yeah.
Chucky and he thinks he's found a friend finally.
Yeah.
What's your
Like, I think they were probably trying to
Chucky?
be a little reminiscent of
Yeah.
6-year-old Andy.
Yep.
Charles.
So, but
Oh, here's a question. The Chucky's gonna be a bro line. Racially insensitive?
I don't think so.
Because he does kind of a black scent when he does it. And doesn't he hold up a fist to kind of like a black power salute or something?
I mean, you can hold up a fist for anything.
I-
It's just a black power thing, you know?
I don't know.
You hold up your fist when you're headbanging to a rock song.
I guess. But
I don't think it was racially insensitive. I mean,
mm,
because, I mean,
Thrown out of this
I think it's it's teetering.
teetering, but he says it in a positive light.
Yeah,
He's
that's
excited
true.
about it.
That's
you know?
true. That's
You know?
true.
You know, and it's a way to say that, like, you know, he doesn't care who he goes into. He just wants to get out of the damn doll's body.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's racially insensitive. You know, I kind of see that as, I hate to say this word, but, you know, empowering, you know? Because, I mean, you know, black people, you should be happy that Chucky wants to go inside your body, damn it. When else are you going to get possessed by a killer?
sights on the target.
All right.
Sorry, too far?
A little bit.
Eh.
But you're a minority, so I think you could say that.
Yes, I am Mexican. I can get away with it.
Yes. Technically, we both can because we are. Well, you have the double whammy. You're triple. You're Spanish, Mexican, and gay. I just have the gay, so I can't get away with as much as you can.
Right. You've really got to play your cards right.
I have to be careful. Yes.
I will say the puppeteering is a little more fluid in this one.
I
A little, not much, but a little.
I always wanted to know what the fuck language this was, because some of it sounds Spanish, some of it sounds French. I don't know if, because usually these kinds of incantations are Latin.
What are you doing, Tyler?
We're playing hide the soul.
I always kind of thought it was mixed between French and Latin.
We don't play with
Just
dolls
because,
now,
I don't know.
Tyler. Dolls are for girls.
Well, that le mercier sounded very
Yeah,
French.
exactly.
To a superior officer.
But you're right, like most, spells and incantations, they are Latin,
Yeah.
but
Be back.
I think we're about to go to. Oh, here's the scene. I think we're about to go to the scene when he goes to Andy's dorm. Chucky.
not quite. We're at the training session, and the headmaster's walking across the quad with Chucky in hand.
Oh yeah, he's holding him. That's right.
Yeah.
And we have that slow motion shot.
Yeah. I remember
Yeah.
that part was part of the trailer that I saw when I was a kid.
I think it was.
Arms! Right shoulder!
Arms.
Oh, doesn't he throw him in the trap
Yeah.
in the garbage truck?
Yeah, the dumpster. And
See,
the
this
truck was.
I'm going to say this. Out of all the kills in all the movies, that's the only one I don't like.
Why?
Because I think it's mean-spirited.
Well, of course it's mean-spirited. It's Chucky.
But it's mean-spirited to the point where it bothers me.
Aw.
Because it's this guy, he seems like a nice guy. He's in a total panic because he thinks he's got a child
Yeah,
in the
he's
back.
just
And he's
doing his job.
He's just doing a job, and he's in total panic mode, and he's going through this garbage trying to find this kid. And then when the thing closes on his hand and he screams, I don't know, I just always felt bad for him.
Yeah, you do, because it was just the case of wrong place, wrong time.
This is my rifle. This is my gun. This is for shooting.
But they needed a kill.
Fun.
Yeah. I don't really think that. Well, with the exception of some of the kills in the original, you could say that Maggie, her death was mean-spirited.
Yeah, I always loved his face when he's screaming in the dumpster.
Yeah. See, the moments leading up to it, leading up to the death, and like in particular, like when he goes shit and he falls in, and then he doesn't he pop up and he's got a banana peel on his head or
Yes.
something.
Yes.
So there's some moments that are funny, but then when he goes in there and he's, you know,
Yeah,
I
this
don't
one's
know.
more tragic because it's just an entirely innocent bystander.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, stop making noise!
And with Maggie, it's still just as tragic, but because she was, you know, there taking care of a kid, you know, with
Yeah.
her best friend. I mean,
And-
yes, when you get killed, it's, you know, wrong place, wrong time for anybody, but
And with Maggie, it's like you really don't know what is happening.
right, because it is the first.
Yeah.
But hey, that's a title she can, you know, take with her. I was the first one to get killed by Chucky. How many people can say that?
And his screams sound genuine too.
I know, I know. God, and like you can hear the bones
The
snapping.
bones cracking.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
I don't like that.
It is very cringeworthy.
Yeah, and you gotta, you know, like with somebody like that, I mean, maybe I'm a big fucking softie, but then I start thinking about this, and I remember always thinking this, like thinking, like, what if this guy had a family?
Yeah.
You know, he was just a working Joe, and
Yeah.
he didn't ask for
deserve
this.
it.
No.
I know Shelton's a dick, but I always thought he was cute.
What are you doing? What's it look like?
I don't really remember what he looks like. I kind of do. Whitehurst, I remember, was rather unfortunate looking.
Oh, what the?
He could be. Get some contacts, shave the head, maybe grow a goatee, or get a little scruff on there.
Are you sure we're talking about the same Whitehurst?
Andy's roommate.
The one who you see his nose 5 minutes before he enters a room? That Whitehurst?
That's mean. Yes.
Yeah, he's not
Well,
attractive.
he's not butt ugly, but eh. Well, clearly we have different tastes.
Well, maybe you're just a whore.
You got it packaged in the mail.
Well, what can I say? If the shoe fits.
Bring it to you. Didn't you get it? No.
Some of us have standards. Jesus Christ.
No, I'm not a whore.
I'm only teasing.
I know. You can't laugh at yourself.
Hmm.
All right, now we're in the dorm room.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say. You see the Playpen magazine that's like supposed to be a Value City Playboy.
Right.
That same magazine I've seen in other stuff. The exact same one. It's a
Really?
prop that has been used. I know it's been in other movies, but the only thing that I can say 100% I'm positive I've seen it on was an episode of Tales from the Crypt. It was on the Undertaking Parlor episode.
That does not surprise me.
But yeah, that was definitely used as a prop in some other stuff. Because I guess it was a stock photo image that they just used.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I imagine Playboy or Penthouse didn't want to be associated with horror movies or horror TV shows.
Well, Playboy might have had a problem, but I always thought that line was so cringeworthy bad. No, you're dead. We killed you.
Yeah. And that must be a very dull night because he went full force on the Achilles tendon.
You're not gonna kill me. You need me.
Oh god, this is also really bad. I'm not gonna let you near that kid.
Oh god, I know. It's just you don't believe it. You don't buy it. Like I do not believe that this is Alex Vincent's character at all.
Chucky's gonna be a bro.
There's the line there.
I'm not gonna let you
Yeah.
get away with this.
See, like he's excited about it.
I'm not gonna let you near that kid.
Like mostly because he found someone dumb enough to, believe that he's a good dude.
Oh, well,
Good
he's
guy.
not. He's a little kid. Give him the benefit of the doubt. He's like 8 years old.
Yes, I know.
But yeah, because I knew we were going to do this episode, I wanted to have the trailer ready, and I'm pretty sure in the I got the TV spot because it was only like 30 seconds, and I don't like to have a very long opening before the actual beginning of the episode. But the TV spot that I found, I'm almost positive has an alternate take of him saying, "No, you're dead. We killed you," and it's worse.
Oh God. How is that possible?
You wouldn't think it would be, but
Oh Lord. TV spots. Kent Military Academy. I wonder who that's a nod to.
Kent. I don't know.
Maybe someone on the crew, a producer. Who knows? Directed by Jack Bender. Let's see what his bio is. Oh, he directed some Alias and Lost. Well, producer on Lost. And Game of Thrones. What are you doing there?
Oh, you heard that?
Yep.
Oh, I I took the earbud out because my ear was
Ow.
hurting.
Aw, you alright?
Yeah, I dropped it.
Ow.
Now, what were you saying about the director?
Oh, just some of his directing credits. He did some Alias, Lost, Carnival, a couple of episodes, Game of Thrones. So he gets around on TV.
Yeah, he's still working.
Good for him. Good for him. Oh, and Joan of Arcadia, the pilot.
I remember it. I've never seen it.
Yeah, he's done some work with quite a few shows with J.J. Abrams. Right on.
I only know J.J. Abrams from Felicity.
Yeah. I never watched Felicity. I never.
Oh my god, it's so
but-
good.
Yeah.
And I didn't discover it until fucking like Gilmore Girls and Melrose Place. I didn't discover it until like 15 years after.
Aw,
I watched it on DVD and I was so into it.
you got hooked.
I did. I bought
What's it about?
all 4 seasons. Well, it's a coming of age story about a girl who is going away to college. Felicity is from California. She's in a city that I've never heard of before. Palo Alto. I never heard of before Felicity, and now I hear it all the time. But she was from Palo Alto, and what it was she wasn't sure where she was going to college, and she found out that Scott, whatever the fuck his name was, guy she sort of had a crush on in school, was going to NYU, and she followed him. And she didn't even really know him. They'd never really spoken before. So like the whole first season is like, what am I doing? What the fuck am I doing? And like it's her like working up to get to know him, and what it's like going from one coast to the other. And
But the whole show is just like is like her like finding her own identity in a sense.
yeah, it's coming of age. Yeah.
Right on. That's cool. And I like Carrie Russell. I've seen her in some movies.
Yeah.
She's a decent actress.
Mhm.
I like her.
I enjoy her as well. I remember when she cut her hair.
Yeah, I remember when
That
everybody
was
flipped out about that.
That was a big deal.
God, it's like, okay, girls are allowed to cut their hair, you know.
That was a huge fucking deal. Oh goodness.
Yeah, I listened to Rose McGowan's book, and when she was on Charmed, she dyed her hair red in the 5th season, and before she did it, the producers gave her like such shit for it. They said something like, oh, they're not going to know who you are.
Oh
And
god.
she was like, yeah, and she even said to them, she's like, really? It's like, A, everybody knows who I am, but B, it's a show about magic, and all you have to do is say that I was mixing a potion, it blew up in my face and turned my hair red, I like it, I kept it. And that's exactly how they wrote it, like almost verbatim. Yeah. Just silly stuff that producers put on actors.
Yeah.
But anyway, I love Rose McGowan. She's awesome.
I did read that book
Oh yeah?
when it first came out. Yeah. I remember the the part where when she was working on Grindhouse and she did that thing when she was in the back seat with Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez and she was messing with them and she was like, I can't begin to tell you what an honor it is to work with such geniuses like
Oh
you.
yeah.
And she just like painted it on like way too fucking thick. And they just looked at each other like, yeah, we are fucking awesome. They didn't get it. They were so
Right.
fucking stupid because they both have their heads up their own asses.
Yeah.
Wherever you are,
I mean,
all the oxen free.
I enjoy their movies, but that's about it.
Get out here, you little son of a bitch.
I like that part. Get out here, you little son of a bitch. Chucky's patience with kids can only go so far.
I know, right? God, I wish these had commentary.
All right, Barkley, you got me curious.
Yeah. That would be nice. Well, Don Mancini said this is his least favorite. So I could see why he wouldn't want it. But I would, for part 2, that would be nice.
Indeed.
One with, him and Christina Lees.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Hell, all 3 of them.
Yeah. Well, we get Alex Vincent in part 1 with Catherine Hicks.
Yeah. But I don't think that they were together. I think they did it separately.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. I think, if I remember correctly. Because, like, the way that it's speaking, it's like each person has their own individual things and, like
They're not talking directly to each other.
Correct. I mean, it's still a good commentary, don't get me wrong, but yeah. It's better when the people like are all there in the room watching the movie together.
They did that with Hairspray, the commentary for the original Hairspray.
Oh yeah?
And it is, well, they don't really hide it at all, but the way it's not good. So John Waters did his commentary and Ricky Lake did her commentary, and they just edited together the most interesting tidbits. They did the same thing too with the commentary for Chainsaw Massacre 3, only it's like a lot of people.
Was 3 the Matthew McConaughey one?
No, that's 4.
Oh, okay. It's been so long.
So, yeah, it's like the director, the writer, I think one of the actors, and before each one of them does their contribution. They say their name.
That's cool.
No, it's not.
Doing.
It was annoying.
Aw.
I would have rather each of them had their own separate commentaries.
Yeah, fair enough.
Looks stupid.
They did that, something like that with the Wizard of Oz commentary, but that's because most of the people are dead.
Yeah.
But they, took like clippets from all their interviews when they were making the movie, so that was pretty cool, I thought.
Well, I think for movie commentaries, maximum 3 people, because anything else, it's too much.
Right, especially when everybody has something to say.
Everybody has something to say. Everybody wants to be the funny one. Everybody wants to be heard, and then they start poking fun at each other and start giving inside jokes. And it's like, you feel like you're watching a group of friends have a conversation that you're not in on.
You're just the odd man out.
You're the odd man out, exactly. And I don't like that.
Here's one death that my brother and I always debated over. Do you consider this guy having a heart attack one of Chucky's kills?
Well,
Because he doesn't really kill him in the grand scheme of Chucky kills.
but he induces it, doesn't he?
He just scares the crap out of him, and his heart can't take it.
But doesn't he know what he's doing? I don't even remember this part of it.
Well, Chucky comes out from, wherever, holding the knife, and he just starts having a heart attack and keels over. And Chucky even says, "You gotta be kidding me."
I like to be hugged.
Is it the Colonel?
Yes, the headmaster.
Okay, yeah, I vaguely remember this part. I haven't seen this in a while.
But yes, as an actual Chucky kill, would you personally count it?
Probably.
Okay. I wouldn't, just because, Chucky doesn't really get to do anything. He just scares the shit out of him. Yeah, see? Here he is gasping.
Well, but it's like,
You gotta be fucking kidding.
Chucky caused it because...
yes, see, you guys,
But
it's the chicken
he's
and the
not-
egg here.
Yeah, he's
If
not
Chucky
really-
if Chucky didn't come out and scare him, he would be fine.
Well,
So,
if he's having a heart attack, he's probably not in the best health to begin with. So
No.
Something else would have set him off.
maybe.
But I
But
don't know. I'm not a doctor, but
You play one on TV?
yes, absolutely.
But you gotta. But it wasn't something else. It was Chucky. Chucky scared him, so Chucky's responsible. I'm holding him fully responsible.
Yeah. Well, I think Chucky got gypped on that one.
You can't say that anymore.
Right, you gotta be politically correct. Okay, Chucky got screwed out of that one. Can I still say screwed?
You can say. Actually, you can say whatever the fuck you want on my podcast. I don't give a shit. I was saying when I recorded with Tony, who's from Australia, and they throw cunt around like it's nothing.
Oh.
And they also say get fucked all the time. So I was like, I know you guys are a little loose with the language down there. So I don't want you to feel to censor yourself. So feel free to say whatever you want.
Nice.
Anybody didn't, much to my chagrin. I was hoping for at least one cunt.
Yeah, I don't throw cunt around very often. I always say it when someone's really deserving of it.
Well, that's what he said. And he said to me that when he was with his ex,
You're a disgrace. When's the last time you
he just said, you're kind of being a cunt right now.
Aw.
Yes, sir, Sergeant Botnick, sir. And what are you looking for?
But yeah, no, he doesn't use it.
Wednesday.
It is a very
regularly.
strong word.
Well, not to them, but to us it
Right.
is.
Yeah. Different cultures, I guess.
Well, I used to talk to somebody on AOL Instant Messenger a long time ago who used to use the word a lot, and he got me using it. So we would just call each other cunt back and forth in chat pretty regularly. And I'm kind of glad that the friendship didn't last as long or that long, or,
You mean Charles?
you know, I didn't speak to him that often because I would have more than likely had a cunt slip.
And somebody would have heard, or the wrong person would have heard.
No, I probably would have said it like around somebody that I probably shouldn't. Was he playing? What is he playing? Is that a Lynx?
I don't know, honestly.
I think this might have been before Game Gear came out.
You're just jealous 'cause
I
you
think
have
that's
a
Lynx.
set of yours.
Maybe, because Game Gear didn't come out until, what, like 92? 93?
It might have been 90, around 93. I had Game Gear.
Whitehurst, you are without
Yeah, because our... jeez.
sorriest excuse
Game
you ever
Gear.
face these walls.
Oh my god, you're Googling it.
I
You're
am.
not cut out.
I never had a Sega Genesis, but I did like Sonic, and I used to play it at friends' houses, and I always liked because they had the different, you know, levels or whatever. They used to call them acts, and I always liked the Green Hill Act. It was the first one in the game. It's different in the Game Gear version. The Green Hill Act isn't like until Act 8 or some shit like that.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay, so it came to North America in 1991.
Oh.
It was in Japan, October 6th in 1990. So if
Hell,
it doesn't look like a Game Gear, so I think it was the one before that.
how'd you get in there?
The Lynx.
The Lynx, yes. But yeah,
That haircut ain't regular.
Game Gear. Having one.
Yeah, I
It
had.
seemed like the Sonic was a little more difficult to maneuver on the Game Gear than the actual Sega.
I don't. I wouldn't
least for
know. I wouldn't know because I didn't have that much experience with Sega.
Sega was fun, but I always liked Super NES.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I spent so much time playing Castlevania 3. God, that game was so much fun.
Do you know how many fucking times I would play Mario Brothers from beginning to end? And I wouldn't even warp.
On Super?
Yeah.
Wow, I never got to the end.
Presto.
I don't think I've ever gotten to the end of any of the Mario games.
Oh
I
my
get as far as-
god.
I get as far as I can, and then
It's
I mean, I have gotten to the end of Super Mario 3, but I've never beaten the game.
You never beat Koopa.
No.
Yeah.
My brother was always the Mario guy. I just kind of play for shits and giggles.
Oh, I loved Mario. And then they had with the All Stars, you had 1, 2, and 3, and then you had Lost Levels.
Is the All-Stars the one where you can build your own levels too?
No. All Stars was the cartridge that had 1, 2, and 3, and Lost Levels all. It was all in one.
Ah, okay. Was that for NES or Super?
Super.
Okay. I don't remember that one then.
Lieutenant Colonel Sheldon.
And
Ah,
and then there was Mario Kart.
Mario Kart's fun.
That was fun. But you know what was funny too about them? That one, it was like if you fucked with your competition, like if you shot a turtle shell at somebody, they would get you back. It was like almost like it was you were playing with AI.
Yeah.
It was almost like you were playing with somebody else, because if you like did something to throw them off the track, they would do something to you.
Yeah.
It didn't happen very often, but when it did, it was like, you motherfucker.
Back to base.
Those bastards.
Commanders, take charge of your teams.
All right, we're starting the war games.
Good luck.
This is when Chucky takes out all the paint
Yeah, he
and
swaps the bullets.
swaps the bullet. Yeah, and which is, you really got to suspend disbelief for that one.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. I'm fine. Nothing's wrong.
Some stellar acting right here. Nothing's fine. I'm fine. Nothing's wrong. I'm fine.
I mean, he's, kind of giving it his all. You can tell.
You're forgiving with everybody except for Justin Whalen.
I am. It's because it's Andy.
And Andy shouldn't be anybody but Alex Vincent.
No.
Well, you like the remake, so what about that? Huh? What about that?
Well,
What about
it's a
that?
different movie.
What about that?
Movie. It's a different movie. I do like the remake. I'm not going to apologize for it, Dan.
And I like you in spite of it.
Well, thank you for that. You're awesome too.
Oh God! If I had gotten sent to military school, I'd fucking kill myself.
Oh shit. I imagine military school is probably very expensive.
What's going on? Why
Um,
you saw something, didn't you?
I don't know. I think like boarding school is,
I need your help.
but I think military school
I didn't see anything at all.
is like where they send kids who have no place else to go, maybe?
Right. Well,
Boarding school, I know, is very expensive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that just kind of says it, boarding school. But, I mean, I don't know. Like, do kids,
Yes, sir.
parents send their kids to military school? I mean,
If they're bad, I would assume, yeah.
Oh. All the schools are part of their respective public school systems, therefore they are free for residents to attend. Students receive an excellent education in these magnet and charter military institutions. Well, there you go. That answers that.
Yeah, I would just I would assume, because it's kind of like joining the army.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to pay to join the army.
Nah, you just pay with your soul.
That's right.
Yeah, I shouldn't talk smash. My father was in the army.
My cousin was in the army.
Sit around the campfire telling camp stories.
No, none of that for him. He stepped on a landmine and got seriously hurt.
Oh my god. Sorry.
Yeah, he was in a hospital in Germany for like a year.
Wow.
Silva, where do you think the red team's camped out?
Jeez.
Could be anywhere.
Did he get like a prosthetic leg or foot? Like, what was the damage?
I think he lost the hearing in one of his ears.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he lost any limbs, thankfully, but there was some pretty severe damage. I never saw him again because he never came back. He spent close to a year in Germany in a hospital, and then because he was seriously injured, they fixed him up with a job in Florida, like a desk job. And yeah, he's been in Florida ever since. He never came back.
Wow.
And that was like 10 years ago.
Jeez.
That's okay. We weren't really like close or anything.
All right.
After Tyler.
Are you crazy? You'll never find them.
Is he what? What were you gonna say?
I was gonna ask if he was like still in like the reserves or something, but you just said that you're not very close. So
Yes. No, I don't really know. I don't really know a whole lot about what's going on with him right now.
With me or not?
Sorry, I can't.
I'm sorry, I can't.
God. Some of his acting is really cringy.
What?
Some of the acting is really cringy.
Yeah, like when he came out and he was freaking out, like that was okay, but the rest of it's just kind of eh. Because yeah, if you saw a doll and then a dead body, you'd probably be freaking out a little bit.
Well, I wouldn't be joining the ranks in order to play the fucking game. I would have, brought some attention to it, especially to the body.
Been like, hey, there's a dead body.
There's
in
a
here.
dead guy in here.
The
Oh
one
my
that-
god! I just remember. I just remembered this scene. You ever seen Jumpin' Jack Flash?
No.
Oh my god, with Whoopi Goldberg, it's so funny. But she's with it's a long story, but she's talking to this guy on a pier in New York, and he gets shot and he gets killed, and she's trying to tell the police that there's a dead guy. And the sergeant's played by Gary Marshall, by the way, which makes it even funnier.
Nice.
But she keeps saying. There's a dead guy in the river, and he's not playing it. And then she just looks at him and goes, "There, I'm telling you, there is a dead man floating around in the river." It's wonderful. That movie
What's
is
this movie called?
Jumpin' Jack Flash. I can't believe you've never seen that. It's so funny.
I'm sorry.
Yes, put that at the top of your list ASAP. It was when Whoopi Goldberg was still doing good stuff.
Ha.
The rest of us are gonna spread out and meet up with Ellis at Split Rock.
Jungle Jack Flash?
Jumpin' Jack Flash.
Jumpin' Jack Flash.
Pinehurst, move.
Don't you know the Rolling Stone song?
No.
You need to get your shit together.
I was never a big Stones fan.
Well, neither am I, but I mean, I know the song.
Yeah. Well, good thing I wrote in pencil. You never know when you're gonna need a pencil.
Mm.
That was a close one.
Now we can play hide the soul.
I'm tired. I don't want to play that dumb game.
Yeah, him and that fucking Hide the Soul game.
You know that?
Seriously.
Your mouth, Charles.
Stop calling me that.
What's the knife for?
Good soul.
I always thought it was cute that he called him Charles.
Right?
Right.
Charles.
You're
His name's not
not
Charles.
Sorry, kid.
I remember when I was younger, it would piss me off that he called him Charles.
Now assume the position.
Because he's not Charles, he's Chucky, damn it.
Ooh.
No.
Back here.
I don't remember where this was shot, but this was a real boarding school.
Really?
Yeah, I was looking at it. Well, I'm scared I'm gonna fuck something up. So I try not to touch anything when I'm recording. But yeah, this was a real boarding school, and so this was somewhere.
It's closed down now.
And the the last bit, that was in California, at the carnival. And that was in it was split between some part of California and the Universal Studios, something or other.
Like the backlot or something?
Maybe.
Who the hell's Charles?
Or it might have...
Made... Sorry, go ahead.
I don't even know what I was going to say.
It only made $20.5 million on a $13 million budget.
That's not what I read. Where'd you see that?
I'm under the trivia section of IMDb.
Oh, on Wikipedia it said that it had a $25 million budget and it made $25 million.
Yeah, regardless, it didn't. That's not a huge profit.
No, when you take into account all the promotion and stuff, because
Right.
that's millions of dollars separate from the budget for the movie.
Oh, here's something fun. John Ritter was originally supposed to appear as a security guard at the Good Guy doll factory in a sequence where some kids sneak into the factory and discuss the Chucky myth.
Yeah,
That's cool.
that was in Wikipedia.
You two are gonna go on up ahead.
Yeah, so
And it's also Brad Dourif's least favorite movie.
Barkley, it's only pain.
That's funny. Peter Jackson was asked to direct. That would have been
that's who
different.
that's who Don Mancini wanted.
Yeah.
So I guess he liked. Well, he didn't even have Dead Alive at this point. Dead Alive.
I did. I thought Dead Alive came out earlier.
No, Dead Alive was 92.
Oh.
So he might have. Well, I don't know when Meet the Feebles came out.
But I mean, Peter Jackson has been doing stuff for a long time, right?
87 was Bad Taste, and that was his first movie.
Wow.
So I think he might have only had Bad Taste and Meet the Feebles. Peter Jackson, during this time in his career in the early to mid 90s, was asked to do direct a lot of different franchises. He even had a Freddy vs. Jason script.
That would have been fun.
He was asked. Well, I don't think they could have done much worse. Jesus Christ.
Right?
I hate that fucking movie.
I know. I mean, I'll watch it because it's Freddy and Jason, but...
Hi, soldier.
It's so bad, though. It's so bad.
I mean, like, you have a director who has never even seen any of the movies in the franchise. Like, why would you do that?
I know. And Robert Shea said that's exactly why I wanted them. You really think that was a good idea? Because I sure as hell don't.
Right? Like, you know better.
And when I heard that Ronnie Yu was directing, I was like, oh, okay. Bride of Chucky turned out really well, so
Yeah, right?
maybe this will be
Because of that,
good.
I thought it would have been, like, more fun than what it was.
Mm.
I mean, I don't know. I don't... God. I mean, Freddy vs. Jason is just something else. I mean, I like certain moments of it, but as an overall story, it sucks.
Yes, that's exactly it. They really threw all story, character arc, character development out the window.
Right?
The whole movie is basically, it is just, it's I'm distracted by all this fucking chaos. But it's totally just a popcorn movie. There's no depth to it, and it's only for people to see Freddy and Jason finally duke it out. That's it.
Seriously.
The acting is awful. The dialogue is putrid. There's so many plot holes because they didn't really adhere to the script.
No. Yeah. I mean, it has some good visuals. I'll give it that much.
Okay.
Like when Jason's on fire going through the cornfield, like that looks pretty cool.
Yes.
And,
Okay.
The intro of the movie when you got that little girl cowering in the corner, like that's kind of creepy.
With her eyes cut out. That was totally so CGI.
Yeah. And like Freddy's intro to the movie. Like,
No, I don't like
was pretty
that.
cool.
I didn't like it.
To where they were like showing clips of previous Nightmare films.
I didn't like that either.
I kind of liked it.
Well, first of all, every time I fucking watch that movie, the part when he says the Springwood Slasher, that's what they called me, and I shout out, no, they did not.
Yeah.
He was never called the Springwood Slasher.
No.
And he's got these really obvious contacts in because the veins are too perfect.
Right.
And they show a moment in part 5 when Alice puts the business end of a pool scooper in Freddy's mouth, and in the movie she says, "Why don't you just shut up?" But they fucking dubbed in, like, "Take this, fucker," or some shit like that. And I was like, that's not what she says. What are you doing?
Hey, Marnie. Yeah. But overall, it sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one thing that grind my gears was when they're in the hospital. Like, you can tell, like, every room is, like, right next to each other. They weren't even trying to make it seem like a massive wing of a hospital.
I could go on
Yeah, me too.
for fucking days about how many problems that movie has.
It's good to clean your house, too, and that's about it.
And you got Kelly Rowland
I know.
calling Freddy a faggot.
I know. Stick to singing and you're done.
Well, that wasn't even in the script. She improvised that.
What?
That whole thing.
Oh, the
What
whole
kind of
taunting
faggot runs
thing.
around in a Christmas sweater? That was all her.
Yeah.
The way it was written, as it was explained by one of the writers in the Never Sleep Again documentary, it actually could have been better if they had done it as it was written, because she is actually facing off with Jason in the script. And she goes into Nancy mode at the end of part 1, and she's saying, "I don't believe in you. I take back all the power that I've given you. You don't exist." And she's backing away, and then she bumps into Freddy, and he says, "Wrong one, bitch," and he kills her.
That would have been interesting.
That would have been really, really cool.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen that.
But instead, you get her dropping the F-bomb. I remember when I saw that in theaters, when he said, "How sweet, dark meat," the fucking theater went insane.
Really?
Yeah.
Because he said dark meat?
Yeah.
What-
And a laugh. Yeah, everybody
okay.
everybody was having a ball with it. And they had a ball with the F-bomb too, which I didn't like.
Yeah, but what's grinding my gears is that, you know, when that came out in 2003, and here it is almost 20 years later, and now people are having an issue with it. Like, dude, come on. Like, let it freaking go. Like, it came out.
No, I've heard people express disgust over that particular scene, or not exactly at the time, but not too far after the fact either. I mean, they do talk about it in Never Sleep Again, and that was '09, and they even show Monica Keena saying, "I'm surprised they left that in."
I mean, it's not meant to be derogatory towards gay people. It's just
it shouldn't have been used.
Fair enough. I just don't read too much into it because it's a damn movie. And if, people are really going to be that, butthurt about it, what about the whole dark meat comment, like, oh,
That's
he's a
true.
white guy saying that to a
Well,
black
that was
girl.
supposed to be a reference to part 4 when Alice comes to the dream and he says, "How sweet fresh meat."
Right.
So, yeah, he was
but he's saying dark
referencing
meat
that.
about a black girl.
Well, he said "how sweet," so he wasn't saying anything nasty about her.
Yeah, but he's calling her dark meat.
Yeah,
Ooh, I mean, if you really want to dive into it, which I'm sure somebody will after listening to this commentary.
I don't think so.
You know what? Hey, he's right.
I don't.
It's like, yeah, that's not cool of a white man to say about a black girl. My point is that people just make way too
I
much
think your point is that you want to
deal.
talk about anything other than this movie.
Yeah, probably. Alright, we'll go back to it. But I will say this. People just need to fucking relax. And he just got his face sliced off.
Yeah, and that that fucking sickle. That's what that was, right? A sickle.
Yes.
That thing was not real.
Oh, no.
Why would they have a giant real sickle?
Well, coming down at that angle, I mean, even a butter knife can do some damage with enough force.
I guess. But
Just saying.
in the novelization, he doesn't. I like that fucking. What was that? A buzzard? That fake buzzard flying by.
It's like a little dragon or something.
It sounds like
His little legs.
It sounds like a vulture. But no, in the novelization, he doesn't fall on those blades. Andy shoots him, kind of like in part 1.
Just shoots him and kills him?
He shoots him and like all of his he shoots him in the chest and like all of his mechanics come out and like you see the metal in his face and
Interesting.
or he sees rather. It's a book. I am glad that Audible is starting to put more novelizations on their website.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just got Reanimator last week and that was cool. They also have Fright Night on there.
Nice.
They have a shit ton of Alien. There's the Alien 3 novels. I think they have novelizations for all of the Alien movies, but they also have like a spin-off series.
That's cool.
If you're a fan of Alien,
I like the first 2.
but they had
3 is kind of boring.
I don't like science fiction, so but they had the novelization of the Halloween 2018, which I was thankful for because that was because I couldn't see the movie, so I just got that because I only just recently found an audio described version of it, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the book. Really?
I liked it for what it was. I mean, nothing's gonna be as good as the original. We all know this, but you know, as far as sequels go, to make something that it just erases the whole.
Yeah, and they already did that with H2O, and it sucked ass as well.
I liked H2O.
Oh God.
I mean,
Piece
yes,
of
it's definitely
shit.
a product of its time, but you know.
You think? That movie is Halloween on Dawson's Creek.
I know, but I still love it. It's a guilty pleasure.
Well, you should feel guilty.
I do. I hang my head in shame.
But one of the main and I'm sure I probably talked about this on another commentary for another movie at another time, but one thing that really fucking bothered the shit out of me about this Halloween 2018 was they did everything to drive home the fact that he's not this supernatural entity that came from this fucking... What the hell was that stupid cult? Fucking... I don't even know. But I hated that.
The Thorn cult.
The Thorn, yes. That was not... No, he was just a man. That was said so many times. He's just a man. He's not a supernatural force of nature. He's just a human being. Yet...
Or is he?
Yet, he's like... He would be like in his 60s, and he's ripping people's teeth out.
Yeah.
He's got this supernatural strength, and he's set on fire and locked in a basement at the end of the movie, yet he's still able to come back for 2 more.
Exactly. They make great strides to try and tell you and convince you that he's just a man, but he's not a man. I think that's the whole irony of it.
I don't know. I think they were serious. Unfortunately.
Well, that's the end of it. This is the end of the franchise. There are no more movies after this.
What? Child's Play?
Child's Play. Oh, I'm wrong, aren't I? There's what, 1 more after this?
What kind of meth are you fucking smoking? What is... I don't even know what is happening.
Yes, there are plenty more after this, and we will get into them.
I did for the longest time think that it was just gonna be a trilogy, because so much time had passed in between.
This was what, 91, right? Yeah, 91.
Mm-hmm.
So what, 7 years? Yep.
Yeah. And when you're a kid, 7 years is fucking forever.
Yeah, seriously. I was little when this came out, and then I was in my preteen years when Bride came. So that's kind of a long time. But it is within the decade mark, which I personally believe that if you wait more than 10 years, you shouldn't make a sequel.
Yes. Yeah, I think so too. And I remember thinking as the same thing about Friday the 13th. I thought that Jason Takes Manhattan was going to be the last one, because it felt like forever until Jason Goes to Hell came out. But that was only like
93 or something?
93, yeah, so it was 5 years.
When did Manhattan come out? 89?
88.
88? Wow, yeah. Yeah, that's right, because Friday did it like every year. In the
Yeah.
80s, it seemed like.
I think it was, they were like in, fuck, what was it? One of them threw it off, because the first one was 80, and then the second one was 81, and then I think that's what happened. And then I think the third one didn't come out until 83,
Right.
and then after that, each year Yeah, each year was, 4 was 84, 5 was 85, 6 was 86, 7 was 87, 8 was 88.
But what I find really hilarious is that, like, what is it, 2 and 3, like 2, 3, and 4 are like is the same weekend, so logistically, part 4 is Sunday the 15th.
Well, that's what people say. I never really thought. I just always assumed that Friday the 13th was just the title.
Yeah.
I never really thought that any of this was taking place on Friday the 13th.
Well, the first 2 were. And
Wow.
Yeah, first 2 were.
Oh.
Well, at least the first one was. I don't know about the second one because they don't give any kind of definitive date.
And yeah, I mean, and it doesn't necessarily mean that that it all happened after, immediately after, like the next day. I mean, because how you see Jason getting up and walking away at the end of the beginning of part 3, which is supposed to be the end of part 2.
Yes.
Whatever, I'm rambling.
Yeah.
But that was Child's Play 3.
Play 3. A solid 1 star. And that's being nice.
I wouldn't. I would give it a 2.5 out of 5.
To each his own.
I think it's okay. I don't think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's not entirely unwatchable, but
No.
It's not going to be the one that, I pop in whenever I want to watch Chucky.
No. As far as sequels go, it's not one of the better ones.
No. I mean, it is cool to see him get, deformed and mutilated, and it's a fun one for Bride to pick up from, which they do a good job with. But yeah.
Yeah.
The Child's Play 2 is so much more fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like Child's Play 2 a lot better. So, are you ready to wrap this one up?
I think so.
All right. So,
Well, I will be going out of town this week, so we will pick this back up at some point.
oh God, what the hell was that?
Oh, Marnie. I think pups are wanting to go outside for their little midnight bathroom break.
I can't tell you how much I'm not looking forward to doing Seed.
I know.
I'm really, really not.
Well, we got one more before we hit that one, so.
I'm looking forward to Bride very much because I enjoy it. I enjoy it. And I love Jennifer Tilly.
I take Seed for what it is. I find the humor in it.
Yeah, and it ain't much.
Yeah, for me, it's for my tastes and my opinions. It's one of those. It's so bad it's good, and I know you're gonna shun me for it, but I stand by it because, like everybody, we have our guilty pleasures.
You really consider that a guilty pleasure?
Yes, I do.
I mean, that's one that you actively seek out. I mean, it's like one that you that you put on. Like you say, "Gee, I feel like watching Seed of Chucky." It's not
once in a blue moon.
It's not. It's not a movie that you just like, are flipping through the channels and like, "Oh, Seed of Chucky's on. I guess I'll watch this." Yeah. You actually put it on, like.
Well, it's in my collection. It's gonna happen at some point.
Does it have to? I mean,
don't you ugh me.
I can't remember the last time I voluntarily watched it.
Well, it has been a few years since I've watched it, so
I hear Lester whining.
yeah, somebody is.
All right,
Well,
so we are going to
Brandon,
wrap
my
this
friend,
up.
this was a lot of fun as always.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we still have 4 movies to go before we wrap up the series. And I'm looking forward to doing Cult so that you can explain some of the stuff to me because I missed out on a lot of it.
Yes. I might watch them beforehand just to give myself a little refresher. But yes, I'm uber excited.
Cool.
And for Curse and Cult, I really think we will do as a double feature.
Yeah. Yeah, it depends on how soon that we get these all done. Maybe I will do a Chucky week and just put 1 a day, for 7 days.
Works for me.
That would be cool. All right. Okay, so we are going to put a lid on this can. What's the phrase?
Put this in the can?
No.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
I don't know either because I think I'm getting sleep deprived. All right, we're gonna end this for now. We're gonna end it for now. That'll work. And yeah, so James will be back for Bride of Chucky and some other stuff too. If he enjoys a certain movie that I've been trying to get him to watch for a couple weeks now.
I know, I'm sorry.
So, yep. Until next time, this is Brandon Ford wishing you all unpleasant dreams.